What's up, everybody? It's Mike the tour guide, and I am here doing a little TU31 seed generation investigation. So this is the seed from the seed tour I did the other night, where there was a giant hole. I did it Christmas Eve, and I did a video a couple days ago about seed generation on TU31, and I think I titled it, "Did TU31 break seed generation?" And as somebody that looks at hundreds of seeds, it was pretty obvious to me that something was amiss. Like something, it just didn't make sense. Like why we would go from like full-size seeds where biomes were, larger and I guess not fragmented. There's a very schizophrenic feel to these biomes where everything's just kind of just doesn't make any sense. So what I did and what I'm going to do right now to kind of demonstrate this is I went to chunkbase.com, and everyone can do the exact same thing I'm doing right now. It doesn't even have to be a seed that you're in. Just randomly go to Chunkbase first, go to the biome finder, and then type in like any number you want into the seed. It's the exact same thing you would do on your console, but type in something that's easy to remember, like 10. And then click on the PC 1.7 and above option below the map, and then load it up. So that is the PC version of what we have, and it's not the large biomes. Okay, it's just the I guess the more normal. There's not the massive large it's normal sized biomes, but with the TU31 equivalent. So once you go there, you can type it in. I typed in this seed, which is 1726, and if I type in one chunk base, let's type in 246, and the X and the Z is minus 314. It shows me in the desert biome. So, am I in the desert biome? Check. I am in the desert biome here. However, on my computer screen right now, the desert goes on and on and on and on. So the PC version, you don't reach water until, let's see, 1432x. Now, is that a bit much for the console version? I mean, literally, you would spawn into this seed, and the only thing you would see from where I'm standing all the way in that direction is a desert. Yes, I don't want that in a seed. But I also don't want, plains and savannas and other types of desert just doused with a huge bucket of Minecraft water. I mean, this is crazy. All of this should have been desert. I mean, I would be satisfied if the desert just went to maybe right here. So let's look at, let me pull the map back up and find, alright, over here will be a good place to go. Alright, so chunk base, I'm going to type in -89 -450. Alright, it still shows me in the desert. And where is that? The plains biome. I mean, that's essentially what I'm in right now, is the plains. And right below that, let's see if this jives. -124. Oh, wrong way. $426. So I'm in a savanna right here, and I'm in a savanna in the PC version. But in the PC version, the savanna just keeps going. It's bigger. So essentially what has happened, and I understand that they needed to shrink the biomes because nobody wants to spawn into a seed that's only, 2,500 by 2,500, and literally 1,500 of it is a desert and a tiny bit of savanna. But I mean, my God, I don't want to spawn into a seed where there's a little bit of desert, a little bit of savanna, and then thousands of blocks of ocean. I mean, there's no equilibrium to this. It's all oceans and a little bit of land. The oceans essentially make up for not having deserts span the whole map or a forest span the whole map. But if we go to a forest, there should be one in here, and I don't know why. Alright, here we go. So this is, I guess, a regular forest. Well, let's go to this one right here, because this would be a roofed forest. So let me try to find a roofed forest. So everything is more spread out, obviously, in the PC version, but Forest Hills. It seems like what they've done is they have taken the different types of a forest. Like if you go and look at chunk base, they more or less separate the forest with other types of forest. Nope, see all of these. So there's a plains, and then there's a swamp, and then a big plains, and then a roofed forest. Whereas in this, they've shrunken all of the biomes. So instead of having a decent sized plain in between your like roofed forest and your normal forest, everything is smushed together and tiny. Well, here's my question. Why would you do that when you have all of this? I mean, there's nothing in here. There's no ocean monuments. I mean, there's nothing here. This is all open space, open ocean. And then you come over here, and yeah, this is at the edge of the map, but I guarantee you, if I were to expand this map to a larger size, if we go this way, it isn't going to be another biome. It's going to be water. So this plains right here, in the old version, pre-TU31, would have been big. So essentially what happens when you shrink down the savannas and you shrink down the grasslands and you shrink down the deserts, you know, the possibility of a village or a desert temple or something like that is few and far between. And when you just throw like thousands of blocks on each map into pointless oceans of water to cover up biomes that are in the PC version, because, you know, over here the desert stretched on, but here they just give us water. Well, in that desert in the PC, the one that's covered up in this version, we're missing villages. So I don't know if this is happening because they wanted, you know, obviously they wanted more things to fit in the console versions. But, I mean, I think they went a little too far with it. And I guess the next point would be, if they're doing this also in part because the PS3 and the Xbox 360 are literally working on decades old software, and the PS4 and the Xbox One are suffering because of it, then that needs to change, and change quickly. Because that would annoy me even more than this, knowing that it's happening because there's stuff that is on a 10-year-old console that just can't handle there's no way anyone can tell me and convince me that the PS4 and the Xbox One can't handle larger maps or infinite worlds. If my tablet can handle infinite worlds, my PS4 can. So they've shrunk the biomes, smushed together forest instead of having large plains and stuff in between them, and we're left with massively fragmented ocean-filled maps. That's what happened. And if you go to Chunk Base and you go to the Xbox and the PS4 map for the seed that you're looking at, and then change it to 1.6, nothing changes. The picture that you're looking at, Xbox One, PS4, PC version 1.6, nothing changes at all whatsoever. The picture doesn't move. But if you change it from PC 1.6 to 1.7, everything changes. So in PC 1.6, in the version of Minecraft that we were just playing like a month ago, they essentially just took off of a seed the first, for the PS4 and Xbox One, they took the first 2,500 blocks and said, this is your seed, and this is where it stops. But on the next bump up, they didn't do that. And I understand why, but they went overboard as far as shrinking. I would rather have this map right here with no water, all desert, savanna, and a little bit of trees. And then if I go in, just like it was before, I mean, you could have 2 maps before that were almost all desert and jungle with nothing else. But at least it was like together. And it made sense. I mean, there's all these great features that TU31 has with like the larger mountains and, you know, like there's more, there should be a feeling of scale, like a large scale and size to like mountains and stuff like that. I don't feel that at all. And it's because everything's been shrunk. And where there was a big mountain, I mean, it just didn't make the cut. So where you do have like a larger biome, not height-wise, but like a large desert. Like this for TU31 is a fairly substantial and fairly good-sized desert. The reason that this desert is as large as it is because on the PC version it stretches for 1,500 blocks. So I guess in essence, if you would like a large desert, go to Chunk Base, look at the 1.7, find a seed that has a massive desert, and chances are the desert is not going to be as big as that because it's not going to stretch the whole map, but it will be a decent sized desert. That is the only way I can think of to give yourself a slight indication as to what your seed will look like when you spawn. But as far as I can tell, gone are the days where we have massive biomes. Until they change things and give the current gen consoles infinite worlds or worlds that are, you know, larger than 25 maps, we're stuck with this. Or they can tweak and they can change and make it so it's different. Where, you know, this savanna and this grassland right there, you know, would stretch beyond this. There's no reason for this to be cut off right here. Now, in the PC version, I guarantee you, there's a river that runs through here and kind of wraps around and keeps going. It's not an ocean. So anyway, sorry for another rant. I really do apologize for that, but I kind of wanted to convince myself, I guess, a little bit that I wasn't going crazy, like that something was definitely off. And I found the evidence of it. Do it yourself. Play with it. Go to Chunk Base, click in a couple seeds. You don't even have to be in the seed yourself, but just look at the changes that the seeds go through. Start in your Xbox One, PS4, bump it up to the PC 1.6, you'll see that nothing changes. Bump it up to 1.7 and everything changes. Then take that seed, go onto your PS4 or Xbox One, and you'll see the difference in everything. And you'll find the places where no ocean exists, and the only reason that they put an ocean there is because they didn't want the biome to stretch all the way across. That's great, I understand, but give me something besides water. Anyway, that's it, guys and gals. Thanks for watching. Pass the message along. Get people to investigate and make some noise. The only way that they're going to listen and possibly patch or possibly do something. I'm not totally convinced that'll happen. I think this is kind of like a part of the game now. But, you know, the more noise we make, the more likely it'll be that they try to do something. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully, I'm going to be able to find seeds that are good enough to put out there for everybody. I'm going to try to find some seeds with a more cohesive feel to them, some villages and stuff, more old school but new features. If it's possible, I look hours a day and few and far between. So, all right,